back-to-back, the ex-managers of the Red Sox and the Yankees in that order. A civil war fought an entire coast away out there in L.A. The Dodgers have not lost 3 games in a row yet this year. The only major league team that can make that claim. They are a rock-solid 40-21. And the starting lineup presented by Southwest. Juan Pierre has been quite a find for them this year. Orlando Hudson, same story. Andre Ethier and Casey Blake. James Loney and Mark Loretta. Matt Kemp, Russell Martin, Rafael Furcal. They don't normally DH because they're a National League team, but playing in an AL park, they do have the DH in there against Vicente Padilla.
Overall, 4-3. ERA is over 5. A couple of bad starts took care of that. Been very tough on right-hand hitters. 192, 130 points, 140 points higher against left-handed hitters. 4 of the 5 home runs, and that's not a lot of home runs, but 4 of the 5 have gone to left-hand hitters. Pitched into the 7th inning in 6 of his last 7 starts. His last start was terrific. That was the start after all of the turmoil. It was in Boston after the bad start in New York. 7 innings, 4 hits, 2 earned runs. He beat the Red Sox in a big game for the Rangers with outstanding stuff.
Very important to keep Juan Pierre off the bases. He loves to run when he gets on. And the first pitch is a strike. Under 91-degree temperatures here in Arlington. Juan Pierre and Andrew Jones were signed to huge contracts, and both lost playing time the last couple of years to guys making pennies on their dollars. Of course, Andrew has had a happy landing with the Rangers. Juan Pierre just continues to chisel away as a Dodger. Boy, and if you can get him to do that 4 times tonight, you are in business. Defensively, the Rangers still without Josh Hamilton, of course. On the DL, Marlon Byrd gets a lot of time in center field. Omar Vizquel is spelling Elvis Andrus tonight at short. And Taylor Teagarden gets a chance to work with Padilla this evening instead of Jared Saltalamacchia. And Omar Vizquel is 1 hit away from tying Luis Aparicio for most hits ever by a native of Venezuela. A chance to tie and even break that record tonight. Switch hitting second baseman Orlando Hudson, known as the O-Dog.
Yeah, we talked about Bobby Abreu and why he didn't get a better deal or why more teams weren't interested. Orlando Hudson's kind of in the same boat. It was a long time into the offseason before he signed.
He was the U-Dog. He was the unemployed dog for a while.
It's hard to figure out why. And the way he's playing right now, it's even harder. He's hitting over 300.
He has signed an incentive-laden contract. If he keeps doing what he's doing, he might make himself $8 million this year, but he did not sign for anywhere close to that. Strike called by Larry Vanover. A couple of ones before that were pretty close. With lightning in the background now. There's a foul ball.
In the background.
Yeah.
One thing the Rangers have done over the last couple of weeks, they started a game when it wasn't raining in anticipation of the rain. And so I think if they thought it was going to rain hard in the near term, they probably would have waited to start this game as well. So let's keep our fingers crossed.
Hudson got a piece of that one. Yeah, there's some really nasty weather, I guess, northwest of here. We know it's moving west to east, but we hope it stays north.
You can see the lightning, and now we can hear the thunder, but fortunately, we don't see any rain.
Padilla brings a 3-2. And Hudson spoils another pretty good pitch.
Now, Hudson has a .388 on base percentage and a nice, especially for a second baseman, .446 slugging percentage.
Cracks it, barely foul. Adrian Johnson, the first base umpire, was right there on the stripe to say that was foul. We're going to see a 9th pitch of this at bat coming between Padilla and Hudson. That one is off his foot. Some of the fans are cheering, thinking that Chris Davis made that play and got him out, but no, that was a foul off his foot. It's still 3-2. Padilla's no stranger to facing the Dodgers. Remember, he was a National League guy from 1999 through 2005 as a Diamondback and a Philly. He was going to walk Orlando Hudson. One-time minor league teammate of Michael Young's, Orlando Hudson, coming up together in the Blue Jays system. Michael is eager to get up there to the plate and get going. He is 0 for his last 16. He has never had anything close to an, well, he's had one 0 for 19 in his career. He's never had an 0 for 20. First time we've seen that slow curve from Padilla. It's 1-0 to Ethier. Now, Ethier's a guy that last year was hitting line drives pretty much all year. Got off to a slow start here in 09. Now he's coming on. College teammate of Ian Kinsler's at Arizona State is Andre Ethier.
Dodgers made a good trade when they acquired Ethier. They traded Milton Bradley to the A's. The A's gave up Ethier. A's probably would like to have Ethier right now. Their outfield is not one of their strengths.
Infield hangs a double play depth. And once again, Padilla opens up way behind a hitter. You talked about Vicente keeping the ball in the yard, and that has certainly been a positive thing to talk about. Only one home run allowed his last 40 innings out there. But the Dodgers not a team known for hitting home runs. They've got the smallest percentage of runs derived from home runs in baseball. The Rangers, as you may know, have the highest percentage like that. The walk to Ethier makes it 2-on for Casey Blake. Might remember Mike Maddox's brother Greg, future Hall of Famer, did play a little bit for the LA Dodgers towards the end of his career.
Padilla has walked 8 batters in his last 10 innings coming into today's game. If you count tonight, he's walked 10 batters in 11 innings. Unlike him.
It's a hot, humid night. You don't really want your fielders standing around out there too long, inning by inning. Get a ground ball here, and maybe everybody grabs their gloves and goes on in for a drink. It'll be Kinsler, Young, and Blaylock leading off for the Rangers tonight against Hiroki Kuroda, who has been very tough over the last couple of years. Padilla's in with the 1-1. Right back to that same outside corner. It's 1-2.
Blake didn't like the call. Didn't look like he could reach that pitch either. Not a bad place to keep it.
That's pretty much where Teegarden's been setting up, is right on that outside edge.
Yeah, the count's 1-2, and 2 of those pitches are right on the corner.
With 2 on, here it comes. 2 balls, 2 strikes to Blake. That can't be comfortable, that big lumberjack beard when it's 100 degrees out.
I don't think so.
Good speed aboard here. The 2-2 pitch hit weakly right up the line. Padilla's play will be to first. And after a bobble, he has got Casey Blake. Larry Bow is the third base coach.
Little bobble by Vicente, but he didn't panic. Had plenty of time and knew it.
Well, now James Loney, the Houston native, will be the challenge for Vicente Padilla. Loney led the Dodgers in runs batted in a year ago.
It's only the first inning, but a little bit of strategy here. You got a left-hand hitter up, first base open. Loney's a .290 hitter. He's knocked in 40 runs. Mark Loretta getting a chance to DH tonight, utility infielder, hitting about .250.
And who's been slumping. He's over his last 15.
As we mentioned in the scouting report, Vicente has been much more effective against right-hand hitters than he has left-hand hitters.
$11 balls, 11 strikes to start the night for Padilla. Although I tell you what, that one certainly could have been a strike.
Yeah, that's a tough one to miss right there.
Padilla did a pretty good job not getting rattled in that game against the Red Sox last time out. There were some real close calls that he had to deal with in that one too. That was Tim Timmons' strike zone that afternoon.
That big guy just reached up with his left hand and snared it.
There was some great defense in the ballpark last night, both on the field and off.
Sure was. Starts off right off the bat today.
Wow. Into a sea of Dodger fans down there. Check swing foul, and Padilla hops ahead. Both these teams have been exceptional. When they score first, they tend to run away and hide. So I know it's only the first inning, yada yada, but it'd be a nice out to get right here. Don't let the Dodgers jump out on you. They have outscored their opponents in the first inning this year, Tag, 54-19. Two balls, 2 strikes. Check your Ford leaderboard. The Rangers actually a little bit better statistically than the Dodgers when scoring first. But those are compelling numbers right there. Two delivery. We will do it again. We'll need a 27th pitch from Padilla here in the top of the first.
And basically it's all the pitches after Juan Pierre. Pierre grounded out quickly, got one out right off the bat.
Another foul smashed into the crowd. Now the Dodgers at 40-21. They've got an 8-game lead in the NL West. The Rangers have a 4.5-game lead in the AL West over both the Angels and Seattle now. Mariners have actually tied the Angels for second. Now Padilla has worked mostly with Saltalamacchia this year, so if there's a little bit of miscommunication here or deliberate communication, I guess that's understandable. Teagarden tonight instead. Man, oh man, getting up towards 30 pitches in the first inning. Salty caught the shutout last night. The Rangers won the game 1-0. Only the 8th 1-0 game here at this ballpark, which has now been open 14-15 years. Kevin Millwood went the first 7 2/3. Only struck out 1. It was the last batter he faced. Tagged into center field. Marlon Byrd lost it, finds it, he got it.
That's a great play right there. He didn't have any idea where that ball was. And you talk about some quickness for a big guy, 240 pounds. He turned around and sprinted and caught it as soon as he picked it up. That was a nice play.
They did not score. Now here come the Rangers against Hiroki Kuroda, a 34-year-old outstanding right-hander. Under threatening skies, the Rangers begin with this lineup tonight, brought to you by Southwest. It's going to be Kinsler, Young, and Blaylock. Michael Young, who grew up a big-time LA Dodger fan, gets a chance against the Dodgers tonight. Cruz is hitting cleanup, then Murphy and Bird, Davis and Teagarden, and lastly it's Omar Vizquel. As for Hiroki Kuroda, from the fine tradition of Hideo Nomo, a Japanese-born Dodger pitcher who's got good numbers.
He started for the Dodgers on opening day against the Padres. Then he went on the disabled list with an oblique strain. Since he's come back, he's had a couple of starts. Good control. A very good pitcher in Japan. And in his last start, he pitched very well. In fact, his last 2 starts, he's only given up 5 hits and 2 runs in his last 2 starts. Not an overpowering guy. He's a control pitcher, but with a good assortment of pitches.
The former Hiroshima Carp. And Kinsler's going to foul one off the ex-Carp into the crowd. The Rangers surviving a scare on the top of that first inning. Take you back to the Marlon Byrd catch.
Yeah, Marlon, I think he knew where the ball was off the bat and then lost it. But he stayed with it. He kept looking. It came out. And his natural talent allowed him to run it down. That was a nice play. He didn't panic. Although I bet his heart started pounding a little bit.
Yeah, no kidding.
He missed that ball. It's 2 runs.
Kinsler chipped his bat. It's a bobble at third. Kinsler is out. Casey Blake with the recovery. Ian now 2 for his last 22. The Dodgers defensively, they can go get it out there in the outfield with Pierre and Kemp and Ethier. Rafael Furcal hasn't made an error in 17 games, very solid at short. And the Canadian-born catcher, Russell Martin, catching the Japanese import, Hiroki Kuroda. We mentioned for Michael Young, it's a big deal to play the Dodgers. He would go to several Dodger games a year at Chavez Ravine. What a thrill for Michael to hit his first big league home run in LA. That was 8 years and 1 day ago. Frustrating series for Michael and really a lot of the Rangers. That abbreviated 3-game series against Toronto. Michael went hitless and in fact never got on base in that series. Did not walk either. Twisting this one foul into the crowd. As we said earlier, you're not going to see a lot of offers regarding Michael Young. Not too many 0 for 7s, 0 for 8s. So an 0 for 16 just kind of jumps out at you. Lays off a tough pitch.
Kuroda pitched really well last year in the postseason. He had a couple of starts, won both of them.
Michael couldn't help himself. Down he goes. 2 down. And Blaylock coming up. I guess late movement is what you can call it. What Kuroda features on the fastball. And then the breaking ball is so tough too.
That's a good slider. He throws a true slider. It's, 5 or 6 inches. And the name of his game is pinpoint control, throwing it where he wants to. And he just hit the outside corner with it a couple of times to Michael. Fastball anywhere from 86 to 90, so it's slightly below average in velocity. But he makes up for lack of velocity with where he throws it and the movement that he has on it. It's a little bit better one.
It's an interesting kind of uncoiling action that he has, too. The way he goes into that delivery, it's like his whole body, almost by segments, kind of rolls into the motion.
A Japanese pitch, if you couldn't see his face and just watched his delivery, you would know he was a Japanese pitcher. That's the herky-jerky, stop and start type of delivery is typical of a Japanese pitcher. We saw Matsuzaka, not with the same delivery, but similar kind of delivery. Seen Uehara for the Orioles, same thing. Stops.
Hey, strikes out the hammer. The Rangers go in order against Kuroda. End of one. There is no score. Against the Dodgers tonight, we go to Jim Knox.
Thank you, Josh. In the community corner tonight, we have a couple members of the Love Unlimited Youth Choir, and they're all come all the way from Augusta, Georgia, sang the national anthem, but in town because tomorrow, a big day in Arlington. Joseph?
Yes, sir. Tomorrow, all day, we're going to be doing service projects in the Dallas area with the Salvation Army, and then tomorrow night, we will be having a concert at 7 o'clock at the Dallas ARC. And then Sunday morning, we'll be heading to the Arlington Salvation Army, and we'll have a concert worship service there.
Yeah, great choir that goes around and helps a lot of organizations. Now, Allie, you've been in the choir for 4 years, traveled around the world. What's been your most memorable moment?
I would have to say sophomore year when we stopped in New York City, and we stopped this place called Anchor House Rehabilitation Center. And not only did we sing with the patients there, but they sang with us just to glorify God, and it was a great experience.
Well, keep up the great work. You got anything for Ranger fans real quick? Yeah, let's hear it.
Let's go Rangers!
All right, there we go. We'll keep that up. All right, good to have you guys in town. Appreciate it. Thank you, Josh.
Thank you, Jim. Mark Loretta, the batter. It's 2-2 to him. Got a nice crowd here tonight. Probably about a 35,000 kind of crowd, and they're still filing in this evening. Again, we understand there is some nasty weather west of here. That ball kind of corkscrewed into the crowd off the bat of Loretta. Oh for 15 and 3 for his last 30. One of the veteran LA Dodgers. That is in on his hands. Slowly hit to Kinsler. And now it's 0 for 16 and 3 for 31. So both the first and the second innings begin with ground balls to second base.
I think you usually can tell how Vicente feels by how many fastballs he throws, and he's thrown a lot of fastballs tonight. He's had a good fastball. He's missed with it a little bit, and they fouled a lot of them off. That's why his pitch count's so high.
Matt Kemp. And a guy that runs very well for a big guy. He is 6'3", 226. They call him the Bison. Kind of like Marlon Byrd. Plays a very good center field, even though he's a big guy. Marlon goes 6 foot even, 245. Wave and a miss by Kemp. They kind of consider Kemp to be a younger version of Alex Rios, so we just saw with the Toronto Blue Jays. One of those 5-tool talents. Well, again, the Blue Jays ended up playing 3 games here and not 4. They had one of the games rained out. A game yesterday, the rare 1-0 game here in Arlington. Pounded in a right. Back goes Nelly Cruz. He's got it. You know, Kevin Millwood's ERA now, Tag, at home is 2.19. And this is supposed to be a ballpark that freaks out the the home team pitcher, right?
Yeah, and you know, ever since Kevin signed here, he's never been freaked out by it, but I don't think he's ever had a stretch where he's pitched as well at home either. Credit to the condition that Kevin's come to spring training in, and the way he's thrown the ball, and his ability to make work however he feels on any given night. I think last night was a great example of using all his pitches and really pitching a really good game. Didn't walk anybody, only had one strikeout, but he didn't need the strikeouts because he kept the other team off balance with all the off-speed pitches and the good command that he had with his pitches. Really nice job of watching a veteran pitch a great game.
Jumps ahead of Russell Martin, 1-2. Much better tempo here from Padilla in the second inning. Martin doesn't have a home run yet this year.
Oh, a little bit of a power outage. He's a guy that's averaged 14 or 15 the last 3 years.
That is not going to get out. That is David Murphy in shallow left. And after about a 30-pitch first inning, much better work here in the second. It stays 0-0. Today when they take on the Houston Astros, the first 15,000 fans 14 and older receive a Rangers reusable bag. TexasRangers.com is where to go to get your tickets, and it's not the lovely alley tonight. It is the almost lovely and somewhat awkward Chris Josephson tonight. Thank you, Vanna. Very nicely done.
Great job.
972 Rangers is the phone number. TexasRangers.com is the website address.
Chris was made for this, wasn't he?
He's really digging that bag, too, apparently. Chris is a kind of a surprise guest stage manager tonight, doing a wonderful job.
We've got another surprise guest coming out later on to model the helmet, too. Won't give that one away till it's time.
That's why ratings are up this year.
Yeah.
We've got secret surprise guests coming on to model things all year. Nelly Cruz bangs one over to short. It's 4 up, 4 down so far. The Rangers having a real tough time driving the baseball lately. I mean, you go back 5 games. The Rangers have 11 runs their last 5 games coming in it tonight. They're hitting 190 as a team.
Yeah, there's a game a couple of games ago where they hit a number of fly balls to the outfield, but you're right, none of them were really driven. They were all 280, 300 feet, lazy fly balls.
That's not the Rangers we know and love.
Not at all. Not at all.
Looking for a batch of line drives to pop up at some point. This guy's been hitting a few. David Murphy. Though he is quickly behind here, 0-2.
Crota's one of those guys, when you go out, he doesn't look that impressive because he's not throwing that hard. But then you go up to try to hit against him, and you just don't get much to hit. It's a little bit here, inside, outside. Adds a little to his fastball. He can pop it up there at 91 if he needs to, or if he wants to. Most of them are a little bit less than that. A little cutter on the inside corner, near the inside corner.
Second straight starter the Rangers are facing, who missed a month with a strained oblique. That was a Ricky Romero story, too, and he was very good last night. Murphy goes fishing. That's 3 strikeouts already for Kurota.
We've seen 5 hitters, and that's all it takes to see that this guy can really pitch. A veteran guy had 9 or 10 years over in Japan, pitching for the Hiroshima team. And he was a terrific pitcher over there. I don't think he was one of the best pitchers over there, but he was certainly in the best group of pitchers over there. The MVP over there one year.
One of the best pitchers in carp history over there.
He's one of those guys that won't beat himself. He's not going to walk too many. Not going to get in trouble because of control. He's going to make good pitches, and if you beat him, you're going to have to hit good pitches.
Dealing here to Marlon Byrd, and that ball fielded by former Dodger Dave Anderson in that third base coaching box. Dave was part of the 88 Dodger team that kind of overachieved on its way to winning a World Series. Slammed into right center field by Marlon Byrd. That ball jumps to the bottom of the wall, and Marlon Byrd has eyes for third. On his way, he's got himself a triple. Nothing like the 0-2 triple.
Well, he's only thrown 24 pitches, but that's really the first bad pitch that he's made. And when you get one to hit, that's what you need to do, is drive it. This is a hanging slider. He wants it down and away, and it stays up. And Marlin able to drive it into the gap in right center field. Most of the pitches that Kuroda's thrown have been down and away. That one was away, but it was up.
A Bird who drove in the only run of the entire game yesterday. It's the first hit of the game for both sides tonight. Davis lays off, and that one's on the outside corner.
Couple of off-speed breaking balls and then a fastball on the inside corner. His goal is to throw something you're not ready for in a location you can't hit it. He's pretty good at it.
Wheels and deals, and Davis trying to check, but down he goes.
You see the catcher, Russell Martin, raise his glove up high. Kuroda threw it, and they got what they were looking for, and that was a swing at a bad pitch.
Baseball on Fox Sports Southwest, brought to you by Geico Insurance, where 15 minutes can save you 15% on car insurance. And by AT&T, switch to the nation's fastest 3G network. AT&T, your world delivered. Now the Dodgers coming to Arlington for the first time in 9 years. The Rangers haven't been in Chavez Ravine in 8 years. When interleague play first got started, it was West against the West pretty much every year. So the Rangers and Dodgers got to be fast friends. But they've missed each other over the last several seasons, and ramping it up tonight. It's a weekend series. The best team in the National League statistically is the Dodgers. One of the top teams in the AL right now, indeed, the Rangers at 34-25. Rafael for a call has to jump out of the way. Furcal initially came to LA with virtually no idea what it's like not to make a big league postseason. His first 6 years in the big leagues were in Atlanta when the Braves were making the playoffs every season. Or some thought he would return to Atlanta for 2009. But then his agents got themselves blacklisted from Atlanta. The Braves thought they had that deal with Furcal, and then that got real ugly. Braves accused Furcal's agent of taking that deal and shopping it to LA. And the Braves described all that as disgusting and unprofessional. And John Schuerholz advised the agents to remove his number from their speed dials. Lined in a center, and there's Marlon Byrd. You know, the Rangers and Dodgers haven't made a trade in 19 years. And it was not exactly a trade that shook the heavens. It was Jim Poole for Steve Allen. Not that Steve Allen.
Now, I never would have remembered it if you didn't tell me about it.
December of 1990. I guess there are some teams that are inherently good trade partners. I guess you just get in a groove, right? Sometimes.
Yeah, you know, I think more often than not, it's just a coincidence that the other team is looking for what you have available and they have what you're looking for. And I'm sure there's cases of general managers who just get along better and have easier conversations together that leads to things. And sometimes guys you're just not comfortable with, you don't talk to very much, and you never explore the possibilities. So I guess it's probably a little bit of everything.
Juan Pierre socks one out of play towards the mezzanine on the third base side.
I can remember the first general managers meeting I ever went to. Al Campanis, the great Dodger GM, asked me to go to dinner the first night, and he wanted Larry Parrish. Larry was one of our best players, And so he trotted out the names of about 7 Dodger players.
Omar Vizquel behind the bag. Got Pierre.
That he would have available. Now, none of them was a very good player. But what he said was, now these 7 guys are terrific players. They can't help the Dodgers, but they could really help a team like yours. So that was not a real good way to approach another team. And obviously, when you get that kind of a offer made to you, your defense system goes up. We never did make a trade.
Here's Orlando Hudson. You know, the Dodgers have on their bench this year, their hitting coach is Don Mattingly, who of course had a wonderful career with the Yankees. I heard that Bobby Valentine coveted Mattingly for a little while. So I turn to you, the GM, during that time. Do you remember that being the case?
You mean wanted him
to be a Ranger?
Yeah, when Don first got to the big leagues, he was a minor league player getting ready for the big leagues. Dick Gernert was a professional scout for the Rangers and a very good one. Loved Don Mattingly. Well, it wasn't a secret. There's a lot of people that like Don Mattingly, especially the Yankees. But there were some conversations, and every time his name came up, they never led to anything. But Dick Gernert, a Ranger scout at the time, loved Don Mattingly. And so we made an effort, never led to anything. And looks like the Yankees were pretty smart to keep it that way.
No, and you guys ended up trading for Rafi anyway, so that worked out fine. Oh, it hit the bag. Davis got all spun around, and Orlando Hudson reaches. The ball that hit the corner of first base and just shot over Chris Davis.
Probably the most famous trade that never happened between the Rangers and the Dodgers was the one a long time ago that involved, among other people, Orel Hershiser, Dave Stewart, and Jim Sundberg was the key player that was going to go over to the Dodgers. Turned out that the Dodgers wanted to alter Sonny's contract, and rightfully so. He didn't agree to that, and the trade never happened. I always looked at the Dodgers did that because they got cold feet after agreeing to the trade and didn't want to do it. But for whatever reason, the trade never went through, but it was agreed to for a short period of time. Would have turned out to be a great trade for the Rangers, and probably a really good trade for the Dodgers, because Sonny would have gone over there and helped the Dodgers.
That was back in 1983.
Those winter meetings were over in Hawaii at the time. Joe Klein was the Rangers general manager.
Well, you mentioned this batter right now, Andre Ethier, was part of a pretty decent trade for the Dodgers. The Milton Bradley deal with the Oakland A's. Ethier's got his dad with him on this trip. In fact, a lot of the Dodgers do. Their general manager, Ned Colletti, is starting a new tradition for Father's Day, even though Father's Day is still several days away. All the dads of all the players were invited to come on this road trip.
Very nice. On the plane to travel with the team?
Yeah, I'm not sure if it was on the team plane or just, we'll get him there and
stay at the hotel.
Yeah, but Juan Pierre's dad is here. Orlando Hudson's dad, Ethier's dad, James Loney's dad is up from Houston. Father's Day is not this weekend, but next weekend. I'm just throwing that out there. If my kids are listening, I can always use a new tie.
Now you're going to make them feel bad. They've already gotten you a pair of socks.
Well, man can never have enough socks either. Or macaroni necklaces. 2-2 the count to Ethier.
How about puka shells? Did you ever do puka shells?
Yeah, I personally no, although I think those are quite nice. Speedy base runner Orlando Hudson. And a suddenly hot hitter up there in Andre Ethier. 2 balls, 2 strikes in a scoreless third inning. Ooh, Padilla thought he had that outside corner. He did not. Fans are giving it to Larry Vanover tonight, the home plate umpire. But Larry Vanover was correct to call that one outside.
Yep, not really that close.
Hudson will get going on a payoff pitch due to Ethier. Check swing. It is ball 4. So it's the second time in 3 innings that the LA Dodgers have had 2 on and 2 out. The Dodgers have made Padilla throw 63 pitches already. Casey Blake is the batter. I think solid is the word to use to describe this guy. That's how I remembered him as a Cleveland Indian.
Yeah, Casey Blake is one of those guys. He's solid. He's versatile. He can play virtually any position on the field. And there's not a team in baseball that wouldn't want him. He's like Mark DeRosa in that regard. If you had a chance to have Casey Blake on your team, you'd make room for him. Same with Mark DeRosa. You'd make room for him, and you'd find a spot for him to play. Maybe different spots for him to play. Maybe that would be the value. But you'd like to have him, that's for sure.
I think there's value to consistency. You know, I mean, there's not a lot of ebb and flow with a guy like Blake. Not a lot of high and low. Gives you that timeless, exact sameness from season to season. Usually a guy that works the count up there too. Joe Torre likes that. Bouncing ball, skipping off Padilla. Kinsler's got it. He's going to wheel around and go to third.
Good try.
Just in case Hudson had scrambled past the bag. The bases are loaded now for James Loney.
They saved a run. It was headed up the middle, and they almost nipped the runner at third base. That was Hudson. He took a little turn, and if he took one more step, they would have had him. You see Ian go back behind second. No play anywhere. Although might have had a play at second. It was close. Omar got over there. Might have had a shot at second.
So now Padilla has to take care of Loney, and Loney, remember, hit one real well to center field in the first inning. Only 2 home runs for Loney, but he's already driven in 42. He's going to peel this one down the left field line. It is foul. And the guy that was chasing it, David Murphy, like James Loney, is from Houston. Both guys recruited by Baylor. Loney was set to play at Baylor and did not. Murphy actually went ahead and was a Baylor Bear, had a great career there. Loney instead signed his professional contract coming out of the high school in Houston.
At this rate, it's going to be a short night for Padilla. He's almost at 70 pitches in the third inning.
On a warm night. Another one fouled to the third base side.
Loney's been late on almost every pitch. He fouled off a bunch of pitches the first time, and then he centered one that Marlin ran down at the warning track in center field. But other than that one swing, just kind of fighting the ball off. Pitches all over the place. Last time he saw 8 pitches.
Again to left field. It's dropping fast. Murphy's coming. He's got it. Loney has already stranded 5 in this game. The Rangers and the Dodgers are scoreless. The Lone Star Series presented by Chevy is coming to Arlington. It's the Rangers and Astros next week. And don't forget on Tuesday, first 7,500 kids 13 and under get a red Rangers helmet courtesy of Dr. Pepper. And look at the suave nature of our Greg Luzinski lookalike model.
The Bull.
Look at that guy. 972 Rangers, the number to call to get your Ranger tickets, or go to TexasRangers.com. That is actually Fritz Dykert. And yes, he looks marvelous in the red Ranger batting helmet. Awesome job, dude.
A couple of excellent male models tonight.
Have no fear, folks.
Allie will be back.
The great
though.
Allie is
She'll
coming
be
back tomorrow. The more conventional modeling will commence again tomorrow. 2-0 the count to Taylor Teagarden. Trying to break open a scoreless game. He's going to whip one foul down near third. Dodgers here all weekend. Got a game tomorrow at 7:05. And then Sunday at 2:05. Chad Billingsley will make that start. He's been terrific the last couple of years. I think a lot of locals here really hoping that Clayton Kershaw would pitch once in this series. A Highland Park kid who's off to a great start in his big league career, but he pitched just a couple nights ago against the Padres instead. Teagarden mashing one to left. That is headed towards the corner. And Taylor Teagarden, a leadoff double for the Rangers here in the bottom of the third.
There's one that came back. You could see the movement on it. Brought it back right over the middle of the plate. And Taylor hit it like it was at the middle of the plate. A rope down the left field line. Trying to drop that on the outside corner, but a couple of times that he's missed his target and gotten the ball up and out over the plate. Taylor's doubled and Marlin has tripled. And it's an example that he can't afford to throw the ball there. His stuff's not that kind of stuff. But he doesn't throw too many there. That's why he's a good pitcher.
Omar Vizquel 1 hit away from tying Luis Aparicio. At 42 years old, Omar has brought some pep, of all things, to this Ranger team. Since we're talking about ages here, Tag, if you'll indulge me, great Ranger fan Gladys Allison is turning 100 years old this weekend. She's in Amarillo, and she's watching. So from all your Ranger friends, Miss Allison, happy 100 to you. Vizquel grounds it right through the legs of James Loney. In comes Taylor Teagarden. 1-0 Texas.
Well, Omar in that at bat was trying to do one thing: pull the ball on the ground to the right side to move the runner to third base, and he did exactly that. Unfortunately for the Rangers, the ball went right through Loney's legs. He not only moved him over to third, he ended up scoring him.
He was waiting for that ball to kind of skip up, and it never did. It's a thick infield grass now, that new infield grass that's still coming in. I'm sure there's an old scouting report that exists that, hey, if it's 100 degrees in Arlington, it's like AstroTurf, right? I mean, normally if it's a baked kind of infield, it'll be a fast infield.
It could get pretty hard. And this is zoysia grass.
Zoysia.
Which should be over the course of the summer, a little bit plusher, a little bit thicker, a little bit longer. It's pretty amazing that they could put that grass in a week before the team got back home and have it look this good. Pretty amazing. I just wish we were here when they did it. Did you know that employees were allowed to take home some of the old grass?
No.
Yeah. A lot of it went to be planted on the grounds here in areas that could use the grass. And for the grass that was left, people got to take some home. There's a good look at zoysia grass.
Kinsler fouls it. You're quite the expert on grass, Mr.
I know. I just did some research on it.
Hey, one other shout out real quick too, Tag, if you don't mind, before I forget completely. Mary Lou Carden, great Ranger fan, one of the original season seat holders. Still a great Ranger fan, was out here the other night. Missed our chance to go say hello, but glad you made it out of here, Mary Lou. The Rangers had those 3 games against Toronto. It was supposed to be 4, but one of them got weathered out. Now it's 3 against the Dodgers, and then the Houston Astros come in next week.
Actually, I should tell you where I did my research. I went right straight to the source.
Grass.com?
No, Dennis Klein, the Rangers groundskeeper. He filled me in on all the details. But if you want an education in keeping a field in shape, talk to Dennis.
Omar goes. The throw down by Russell Martin's too late. A 42-year-old road runner. It's Omar Vizquel stealing the base. Kinsler is down on strikes, but the Rangers have a man in scoring position with just 1 out.
He stole that base easily. I'm sure there's been a couple of 42-year-olds that could run the bases and steal a base like this. I can't remember the last one. One thing for sure, if all you did is watch Omar play, you would have no idea he was 42 years old. You might say 32, but not 42.
Michael Young trying to break a slump here, 0 for 17. But he had a lot to work with. Batting average is still very healthy, .316 for the year. Crowd still filing in as we get about an hour into the game now. Going to end up probably around 36, 37,000 people here tonight.
Hope the team's playing well. They're in first place, and great opportunity to see the best team in the National League, the Dodgers.
Michael Young, the slump is over. Base hit center field. Vizquel comes around. It is 2-0. That's a good lesson right there, I think, too. If you're in some sort of slump, you don't try to do too much. Just take it up the middle.
Yep, I agree 100%. When in doubt, try to hit it right back through the pitcher. This goes right under Kuroda's glove. But not an easy play for him because it was hit so hard.
RBI number 23 this year for Michael. And now Blaylock. Whereas the base runner, Mr. Young, was a big-time Dodger fan growing up, Blaylock was anti. He was a San Diego Padres guy. The Padres and Dodgers were I-5 rivals, still are. Just a chance to stick it to Dodger blue here for Hank Blaylock. Blaylock zips it back into the crowd. And again, occasional flashes of lightning around the ballpark, but we have not yet felt a drop of rain. Blaylock with a foul tip back into the glove of Martin. Now, the Rangers' top third of the batting order yesterday did not have a hit, 0 for 12 collectively, but Blaylock was not a part of that. That was Andrew Jones DHing yesterday. That top third will not go hitless tonight. Michael Young, the RBI single moments ago. On the out-of-town scoreboard, it's pretty much all interleague action now over the weekend. The Astros and Diamondbacks the only exclusion. Braves lead the Orioles 4-2. That's in the 6th. And the Red Sox lead the Phillies 2-1 in the 8th. Euclid and J.D. Drew have the home runs to give Boston that lead. Red Sox getting another great effort from John Lester tonight. Tagged 7 innings, 2 hits, and he has struck out 11. Does that sound familiar?
Yeah, it sounds very familiar.
Getting away and back towards Nelly Cruz in the on-deck circle. Down to second is Michael Young on the wild pitch. Good job of cleanup right there by Nelly. Getting all the equipment out of the way. Two from Kuroda. Blaylock stretches out, pokes it over towards first. Close play, but Loney makes it. Young's to third, and here comes Nelly Cruz. Real quick, some other scores here, Tag. You got the Indians over the Cardinals 2-1 in the 7th. Albert Pujols is hit number 20. And Mark Teixeira is hit number 20 for the Yankees. The Yankees trail the Mets 6-4 tonight. That's at New Yankee Stadium in the 5th. Gary Sheffield returns to the Bronx. He's got a home run for the Mets. One thing we have not seen in a good long time is a Ranger home run here at what traditionally has been a great home run hitter's park. It's been 4 innings and 4 games since we've seen a Ranger home run in this ballpark. Only once in this ballpark's history has there been a 5-game stretch without a Ranger homer. Fouled, and a one-hand catch up there in the crowd. Very well done. Nelson Cruz a smash in a left. But there is Juan Pierre, and that's it for the Rangers here in the 3rd. Rangers did some damage, though. They scored twice, and they are leading the LA Dodgers. Black trivia question. On this date in 1997, that's when interleague play got going. The Rangers taking on the San Francisco Giants. Do you remember who were the winning and losing pitchers in that historic baseball game? Answer coming up in the bottom of the 4th inning. The Rangers lead the Dodgers tonight by 2. Threatening weather in the area. Wouldn't be a horrible idea if the Rangers could kind of get quickly to the top of the 5th and through it. Make this an official game tonight. Mark Loretta leads it off here in the 4th inning. Matt Kemp and Russell Martin to follow. Fouled away. And Loretta, who's, as you said, Tag, a useful guy to have, can play pretty much anywhere. And here in the American League Park, they simply stick him at DH.
And most people think the American League team has a little bit of an advantage in the American League Park because they have a DH.
To third, Michael Young knocks it down, gets up and realizes he doesn't have a play on Loretta. Yeah, the Dodgers, in fact, Tag, have lost 27 of their last 32 games in American League ballparks. They're 5-27.
Yeah, most National League teams really don't have that kind of a guy. They usually have a guy that they like as a pinch hitter, but he really wouldn't qualify as someone an American League team would want as a designated hitter. And the other side of it is the American League team is a little bit disadvantaged when it goes to a National League city because their pitchers aren't accustomed to hitting, and their DH in many cases can't play. Sometimes the DH will assume a position someone else won't play. But for instance, David Ortiz generally, he was playing well for the Red Sox, wouldn't play when he went to a National League city. Sometimes he'd play first base.
I always thought, and this is just me being, one of those guys, but to really do interleague play and make it interesting for everybody, put the DH in the National League ballpark.
Yeah, it's going to happen the same amount of time.
Right. That way the National League fans, just 9 games a year, get to see what that's all about.
Sure.
And, in this ballpark, we never get to see a pitcher swing the bat here ever. Matt Kemp flies out. That's first out in the 4th inning.
In most cases, we're not missing much, but I think some people like to see the futility.
A couple other scores that we didn't get to. The White Sox lead the Brewers tonight 2-0 in the 4th. The Blue Jays over the Marlins 2-1 in the 6th, though we're told Roy Halladay had to leave that game early.
Uh-oh.
With that 10-1 record. Mariners lead the Rockies tonight 1-0 in the 1st on a Russell Branyan home run. He's got 15 this year.
I give a lot of credit to Seattle because they're really the first team who has said to Russell Branyan, you are a regular. We're going to bat you in the middle of the lineup against lefties and righties, and we believe in you. And once he got that opportunity, he's taken the ball and run with it. And he's been a terrific player for him. Kind of late in his career to get that opportunity, but it looks like the Mariners made a good decision with him.
The Nationals lead at Tampa Bay tonight 3-2. Reds and Royals are tied 1-1 tonight. And if you want to track the Angels, we're 4.5 behind the Rangers. They are taking on the Padres later tonight. Martin spins one out of play. Got one final from today. The Twins went to Wrigley and beat the Cubs 7-4. Joe Mauer, remember, missed the first month of the season, right? He's got 13 home runs now.
Well, everybody said, baseball people said, sooner or later he's going to hit with power. It hadn't happened early in his career, but remember how young he was, too. He had a nice body, but he really hadn't filled out and gained all his strength. He's won batting championships. But maybe this is the year where the power starts to show through. I don't think it'll shock baseball scouts who have watched that swing.
Another fly out to Nelly Cruz. He's been busy tonight. That'll bring up for Call.
You look at Minnesota. There's not many teams that have a better 1-2-3 punch than they do.
No.
With Morneau, Kubel, and Mauer. All three of them driving in runs and hitting over 300.
Kubel homered in that game today too.
What's he hitting now? Did they have his average in there?
I think find it for you.
I think he's like around 315 or so.
Minnesota, yeah, 314. Very good.
Driven in some runs. Morneau, really the only guy in the league that has triple crown aspirations. I think he's in the top 5 in the offensive categories.
Do you know the Dodgers haven't had a Triple Crown category winner since 1963? Tommy Davis.
Category? No one's been in
No.
the, wow.
They haven't had an RBI champ. They haven't had a home run champ. They haven't had a batting average champion.
Boy, they've had a lot of good teams over those years. Though.
Yeah. Tommy Davis in 1963 was the batting champ. There was Davis in RBIs in 62. And to find a Dodger home run champion, that was Duke Snyder when the team was still in Brooklyn.
Wow.
More than
There's
50
some bad
years
weather
ago.
on the fringes right now.
Yeah, seeing some lightning out beyond left and center.
It's dark in right field.
Another foul ball and some more thunder rumbling in the distance. And just to finish up on that Twins-Cubs game today, Tag, that was Kevin Slowey with the win. He is 9-2.
Well, shapes up to be a decent race in the Central. Right now, Detroit's got the big lead. They're winning tonight in Pittsburgh. Another good game for Rick Porcello.
One-two pitch is too high. Now the Twins are 3.5 behind the Tigers right now as you check the Jack-in-the-Box standings. Kansas City was an April darling. Not going so well for them right now. On the ground, second base, Kinsler's got it. And Padilla has needed a lot of pitches, but what he's got is a 3-hit shutout. Aflac trivia question. As the Rangers and the Giants played the first ever interleague game on this date back in 1997. Mark Gardner over Darren Oliver. Giants over the Rangers right here at the ballpark. Interleague play. Nobody seemed to know at first if it would have staying power or not. Remember, it was an experiment at first, but it is here to stay.
Turned out to be a great thing for baseball. Some of the purists didn't like it at first. They thought it diluted postseason play, but I don't think that's the case.
Murphy with a ground out to start the bottom of the 4th.
Just by attendance figures, it shows that fans love it, and if that's the case, then it has to be good.
It's cool to have the Dodgers come in. I mean, we never get a chance to talk about the Dodgers.
Yeah, at first, when we got the Dodgers, saw Mike Piazza late in his career.
Yeah.
Saw Barry Bonds.
Yeah, when the Giants would come through here. Rangers will go play the Giants this year in San Francisco. They've also got a road trip to Arizona. The Dodgers and the Padres come here from the NL West.
I was kind of hoping we'd go to San Diego. We haven't seen their new ballpark yet. You have, I haven't.
It is a pretty park. On the ground from Bird to third. And 2 out. We go to Jim Knox.
Okay, Josh, just a reminder for Ranger fans, All-Star ballot are out. Continue to vote for your favorite Rangers. Michael Young, of course, we need to get him up there, get him on the team. Josh Hamilton's hurt, but we got to get him going. Jared Saltalamacchia, number 2 right now. And how about Ian Kinsler's biggest fan? What do you got to say?
Vote for Ian Kinsler, or I will break you. I will break you.
All right, that ought to get it done. So go out and vote for your favorite Ranger. June 30th is the cutoff date. Let's go out and do your thing. All right, appreciate it. Thanks, guys. Thank you.
That's good stuff, Jim. Thank you. Vote for Kinsler or that guy pulls your spleen right out of your body. Chris Davis, a wave and a miss. And again, kind of one eye on the ball field right now and one eye on the radar map. Nasty, nasty weather in Fort Worth.
Well, I'm going to feel a lot better when we get the Dodgers out in the top of the 5th.
If you crane your neck and look out beyond left field, it doesn't look all that bad. Right field looks like it's just the worst thing ever. Left is okay, even a rainbow out there. Right, not so much. I say we all go hang out in left field. That's down too low to Davis, 2-2. Oh, good for Chris Davis working that count full. He's been seeing more and more deep counts over the last week. Maybe a sign that he's about to get going. Maybe the rainbow's a good sign. Davis to left field. And indeed, that's good stuff. Davis has doubled to left. We started this homestand bemoaning the lack of 2-strike hits that Chris Davis had this year, but he's now got 3 in his last 3 games.
Well, the key is to swing at strikes, and that's what Chris did. That was a tough strike, but it was a strike. If he didn't swing at it, it was in the rectangle, would have been strike 3, potentially, if it was called by the umpire. You lay off the bad ones and swing at the good ones, you got a chance. In fact, you got a real good chance. Unless you're like a truck driver getting a chance to play in the big leagues, then it really doesn't matter too much. But provided you're a big league ball player, you've got a chance. There's some good camera work.
Great. The hand on the bag.
Oh, this is getting close now.
Well, that last little branch of lightning that creased the sky.
The dark is not all the way behind right field now. It's kind of in right field. Good looking rainbow out there, though.
We got that going for us, which is nice. In terms of all this electronic equipment on our heads, I'm not not as enthused. Kind of smells like rain right now, doesn't it? Teagarden already with a double and a run scored tonight. And he is down on strikes here. All right, now it's kind of a race against time. With the rain moving in, it becomes an official ball game in 3 outs. It's brought to you by your Texas Ford dealers. Check out the all-new F-150 and drive one. Ford is the best in Texas. By Aflac, we've got you under our wing. And by Corona, official sponsor of the timeout. Vicente Padilla's got a 2-0 lead. And a very interesting night weather-wise. Juan Pierre, a count of 1-1. There's a rainbow visible here from our press box window, which is great.
Hey, you can see it all the way across from right field to left field now.
See everything but the pot of gold at the end of that thing. Pierre lines one foul.
An unusual amount of foul balls hit straight back by the Dodgers.
Juan Pierre into left field. And once he's on, he likes to run. He is finally on. Rangers had kept him off base the first couple times. You know, Padilla's ERA first 3 innings of games is 3, but from the 4th inning on, it's about 7.5.
I guarantee I would not want to be on the field right now.
No, there's some major lightning. It's starting to just zap across the sky here. Again, the Rangers are 3 outs away from this becoming an official game. We'll see how quickly Padilla can dispose of Hudson and Ethier. The wind is definitely picking up too. Debris, napkins, things like that starting to blow by our window. Again, the same 2 teams play here tomorrow night, 7:05. Scott Feldman is on the mound, and then Sunday it's going to be Derek Holland. Down that left field line, that is foul. Now the Rangers still aren't hitting that much, but boy, they've got the back-to-back shutouts working right now. They had the 1-0 win against Toronto last night. Good size lead for Pierre over there at first.
Good pitch.
And that is taken for a called third strike by Hudson right at the knees.
2 miles an hour. Watch the glove and watch the ball. Comes back toward the plate and gets all of the plate. One of those pitches that starts out inside and comes back over the plate. The hitter gives up on it. He's looking at the umpire. That ball was all over the plate.
Another flash of lightning as Padilla gets set to go to work against Ethier.
What a ground ball a second.
Nope, you will get a fly ball foul, sir, and like it.
I do like it. Not as much as a ground ball to second, though. Who said that? You will get
you did
that and like it. No, was that?
Oh, that was Judge Smales in Caddyshack to his son Spalding. Spalding wanted a hamburger, then a cheeseburger. Then he got nothing and liked it.
I know a lot of people that like that movie. I'd like to know how many times that movie has shown in a baseball clubhouse somewhere.
Especially about 15-20 years ago. It's almost like it was on endless loop. Actually, that was Judge Smales' grandson, I believe, was Spalding. If you're scoring at home. Hits are even, 4-4. The Rangers have the only 2 runs. They both came in the bottom of the 3rd inning. There goes Pierre. And Ethier rips it foul. You're right about the foul balls tonight.
And that's usually a sign that the pitcher's got a good fastball. And Vicente has a good fastball tonight. He's thrown 98 pitches, jammed into 4 1/3 innings. But the last one was 94 miles an hour. So he's strong. He's throwing well. I think anytime you see hitters fouling a lot of balls straight back, they're not catching up with it. They're not centering it, not hitting it on the good part of the bat. It's an indication that it is a good fastball.
More lightning bringing some oohs and ahs from the crowd. And Ethier barely got a piece. There's 95 from Padilla. Straight heat. And again with Pierre the runner and a threat to be going. Padilla deals. And misses up and away. The Rangers a chance to get back to 10 games over 500 with a win tonight. They're in that stretch where they're playing 19 out of 25 here at home. With the wind whipping and Pierre going. Teagarden is throwing and it's wild. It's into center field. Pierre gets up. He wants third base and he shall have third base. It's a stolen base and an E2. Good jump on the 1-2 count. Teagarden charged with his second throwing error of the year.
I don't think he ever had a grip on that ball. It looked like he had all 4 fingers on the ball when he threw it.
Infield is back. And Padilla missing outside. The cleanup man, Casey Blake, on deck. socked and caught by Davis.
It's a relatively important catch right there. As hard as that ball was hit, it would have been down in the corner for a run-scoring double. Tough at bat for Ethier. He's walked a couple of times tonight. He fouled off about 5 pitches in this at bat. Got one he could handle. Good, quick bat. Boy, hit that ball well. Unfortunately for him, fortunately for the Rangers, Chris Davis is playing first and speared it. Ethier must have seen 25 pitches tonight in those 3 at bats. 2 walks and a long at bat right there. Big at bat right there with a man on third base. Get Blake right here. Keep the Dodgers from scoring.
Pierre way down the line at third. As Padilla's got a 1-1 count now on this LA Dodger cleanup man. The wind picking up. Whoa, is it picking up? Blowing towards left.
That almost blew the monitor off the table.
I noticed that. This one popped foul.
Yeah, the wind might be doing some strange things to the ball down on the field right about now, too. I remember a game against the Tigers back in 1995, I think it was. Oddibe McDowell hit a fly ball to center field that by the time it came down, it handcuffed Cecil Fielder at first base. Fielder picked the ball up and threw out Oddibe going to third base trying to get a triple.
With 2 out, very close to this being an official game. Another pop foul, and again,
amazing
with the extremely nasty weather on the fringes of the ballpark right now.
And Vicente's at 107 pitches in 4 2/3. But he's still throwing well. He's been throwing well the whole game. Just the Dodgers have had some pesky at bats with all the foul balls. You know he's throwing well because of how many fastballs he's throwing. He's pretty much going exclusively to his fastball.
That was different. He dials it down and makes it an official ball game now that we're through the top of the 5th. Big play by Chris Davis in that inning, and it is 2-0 Rangers. Bottom of the 5th in theory coming up. 'AT&T, the nation's fastest 3G network. AT&T, your world delivered. All right, it's an official game. We can relax about that.
You know who can't relax?
Anybody with equipment on their heads like us with all the lightning?
That blue dot. That dot took a header, boy. I don't think that was planned.
We do have a planned guest in this inning. Mark McLemore joins us. We'll catch him on Rangers Live after the game tonight. Watching Omar Vizquel bat and check his swing. And usually when Mark McLemore comes on, great things happen.
Wow. Whoa.
He's got superhero powers.
Mac, do you ever remember playing in a game where you had a couple of hits, the rain was coming, and it wasn't an official game, and you're screaming at the pitcher to throw the ball?
You better believe it.
Vizquel hangs one to left. That'll be the first out in the bottom of the 5th. Well, and having played in the Texas League as you did, I'm sure you're not unaware that sometimes in this state the weather can get a little odd for baseball.
It can change in a hurry. I remember one year we had a game in AA in Midland, and game started perfectly, and all of a sudden there was a giant cloud behind home plate, and 10 minutes later it had swung around the stadium to center field. 10 minutes after that, the fence was blown down.
Nice.
And we were gone. It was unbelievable.
Good night, everybody.
That was it.
Ian Kinsler checks and goes ahead in the count 1-0. What about standing out there at second base or shortstop when there's lightning all around? Does a player notice that that's going on?
Oh, you better believe it. You know, you've got those spikes on down there, you know. You don't want to be out there when lightning's going on. But I think, you know, a situation like this, the one thing that I think, well, I know I worried about is a pop fly. You know, that ball goes up and you've got the wind swirling, and
no doubt.
All of a sudden you're out there like you have no idea what's going on, and you really don't with that wind out there howling.
Yeah, absolutely.
Kinsler rolls one foul. Let's quickly go to Jim Knox, try to get a weather update.
This is the best person to get it from, Josh. Dennis Klein, of course, director of grounds. What's the latest? I saw you talk to the third base umpire. What'd you tell him?
Well, I told him the majority of the heaviest stuff's to the west and south, and it's actually pushing south. We're right on the edge of it, but if it backs up on us, it could be an adventure getting the tarp out with this wind. But we'll have to play it by ear.
Just curious, from your guys from the bullpen, groundskeeper bullpen, to the getting the tarp out on the field, have you ever timed them? How long does it take?
We've done it, I think, in under 2 minutes. That's without the wind. But tonight, with the wind, it becomes one big parachute, and could end up in home run porch.
We may need some help. We'll recruit from the stands. All right, Dennis, I'll let you get back to work. It could be a busy one for you. Josh?
All right, thanks, Jim. Thanks, Dennis. Good stuff as Kinsler lines a single in the center.
I've actually seen that in Denver one time. They tried to get the tarp out. The tarp blew up in the air about 10 feet off the ground and ended up plastered against the right field wall. And it rained so hard the game got rained out because they couldn't get the tarp on.
We are under a tornado watch here in Arlington right now.
Well, we'll hope that Dennis's first report is right, that it's south and moving south. And the edge that we're on gets farther away.
Yeah, not that we're wishing bad things for those of us watching the game south of here, but trying to get the game in here in Arlington best we can. You weren't in the International League when Tidewater had the worm out, were you, Mac?
No, I missed the International League. Well, I missed that one anyway, so I haven't heard about that one.
I'll tell you about the worm out in just a second here. There's a snap throw to first base. Kinsler diving back in. You remember the old ballpark at Tidewater in Norfolk, Virginia, Met Park. Right. And the team, I guess, was on the road for about a week. And it just rained and rained and rained, as it can do in Virginia in August. They had the tarp down the whole time. And thousands and thousands and thousands of worms came up and then basically just decomposed under that tarp. And it was so bad, so disgusting, so smelly, so awful. They had to postpone 2 games.
Wow.
The first ever recorded worm out.
What year was that?
That was 91, 92.
Wow, I don't remember that. I'm glad I wasn't there for that, Jim.
That couldn't be good.
Could have made some good fertilizer, though.
Well, again, right now, on the fringe of this system, there's lightning off in the distance, but we continue to play. Kuroda's not in any hurry here. Keeps throwing over to first base.
Well, the good thing is the Rangers aren't in any hurry anymore either. And I think as a team, when you start to tailor the speed of the game based on the weather, you can make a big mistake. I think Padilla did the right thing. He pitched his normal game out there, and if the rain comes, it comes. But when you get out of your rhythm a little bit by trying to speed everything up, you risk bad things happening, and all of a sudden you're behind in the game. It never rains, and you wish you didn't play it that way.
Kinsler not going. Michael Young hits it on the ground to short. There's one out. And Loney with the pick at first. It's a double play. That ends our time with Mark McLemore, unfortunately, but we got to tell some good weather stories. So.
Yes, we did. I love the worm out story.
See you on Rangers Live after the game.
All right, babe, you got it.
Thanks, buddy.
Thanks.
Rangers finish out the homestand and battle for Texas with 3 games against the Astros next week. Next Thursday, the first 7,500 kids 13 and under get a Rangers nightlight. That's what it looks like right there. The Rangers logo all lit up. Get your tickets by calling 972-RANGERS, or you can go online at TexasRangers.com. Got lightning lighting up the night here in Arlington this evening. And as has been reported, the ballpark is right on the fringe of a major weather system. The Verizon call to the bullpen. We see Jason Jennings out there now. Vicente Padilla only went 5 innings tonight on a hot night. And he needed More than 100 pitches to get through those 5 innings. So even though it's a shutout, he's gone, and in comes Jennings.
Yeah, I think the Dodgers literally fouled him out of the game. They fouled off at least an extra inning's worth of pitches. More than normal.
108 pitches thrown by Padilla.
And that's a lot of work. 108 pitches is a long game for a pitcher, but it's even worse when you jam it into 5 innings with men on base having to battle out of jams than, for instance, spreading it out over 7 or 8 innings. He really worked tonight to get through the 5 innings. Had a good fastball, threw mostly fastballs tonight.
And now Jennings, who's been quite a find in middle relief for the Rangers this year, gets one in on the hands of Loney, who pops one up. Vizquel pounds the glove once, makes the catch. Mark Loretta will come up next. First, we go to Emily Jones.
Well, guys, instead of a Twitter question tonight, I have a Twitter testimonial. If you're wondering just how big this whole Twitter phenomenon is, you need to look no further than the Rangers clubhouse. CJ Wilson on Twitter. And also, too, we found some breaking news on Twitter a couple of nights ago. Jason Grilli, the new Rangers reliever, let everyone know via his Twitter page that he and Doug Mathis had come to some sort of an arrangement for the number 49. So now Jason Grilli has the number 49. We found out the news on Twitter. And also, too, CJ and Jason both gave me a really hard time today. Tom, I can totally sympathize with you. I'm not very up on this whole technology thing. I'm learning. But they made fun of me because I didn't know the difference between a backward slash and a forward slash. So you'll find all of that on CJ's Twitter page and also on Jason Grilli's Twitter page. And obviously, you can find all of the great stuff that we have on Fox Sports Southwest Twitter page, too, at twitter.com/ I need to ask CJ and Jason the difference. /FS Southwest, guys.
All right, Emily, and give a playful little rub on the top of the head to those young children that you have messing around with you. There's CJ Wilson. Big on the MySpace, big on the Twitter, big on just getting with his fans. And it's actually a really nice thing. And Jason Grilli, same deal. CJ the other day updated everybody on who he was going to dinner with after the rainout on his Twitter page, and it was pretty much everybody in that bullpen. Well, I did not know Darren O'Day was known as Darren O'Dizzle.
I guess it'd be a pretty good way to get a group of fans together for a party, for instance.
Sure.
CJ said, I'm going to such and such a place after the game. Love to see you there. Probably get a pretty good turnout, wouldn't you?
I did that for my...
sounds like a pretty good thing for like collaboration between a player and a restaurant owner.
Absolutely.
Restaurant owner says, hey, do me a favor. Twitter, you're going to be here tonight. Beer's on me. CJ twitters, I'm going to be at such and such a place tonight.
Right.
Has free drinks and maybe brings along 50 extra people.
So it's a total win-win.
It's a win-win.
Jose Guzman and I just
might have
chatted.
to start twittering.
You should tweet. Guzzi's going to play conga drums tonight with me.
Is he?
It's a musical appearance we're doing at Kirby's. And
Don't tell it. Tweet it.
I just told Guzzi if there happens to be a rain delay, I will get the word out by Twitter.
Okay.
On the Rangers TV Josh page. So
I might be getting into this now.
See, look at you.
Although I'm with Emily on that. I have no idea what the difference between. I don't even know what they were. She doesn't know the difference
forward
between
slash and the backward slash?
Yeah, I don't even know what they are.
Well, one leans to the left, one leans to the right, basically.
Are they straight lines or are they curved?
No, they're diagonal.
Oh.
On the ground to third.
I'm learning all sorts of stuff tonight.
Getting the count, and Guzzi and I will see you after the game, and they'll drum all over you. $700 plus tickets to a Ranger game and dinner for 2 at Sonic Drive-In. Good luck to Kenneth Wallace down in Italy, Texas. If a Ranger hits the Grand Slam this inning, we're giving away $25,000. You can register at any North Texas Sonic restaurant. On a windy and rainy night, although the rain hasn't quite made it here yet, it's 2-0 Rangers, 2 runs in the bottom of the third against Hiroki Kuroda. I'm just watching Kuroda out there on the mound, trying to make sure the dust doesn't fly into his eyes. Got Blaylock backing out. Napkins swirling all over the field. Batting down the hatches. Here we go. Bottom of the 6th. 2 runs, 5 hits for the Rangers. No runs on 4 for the LA Dodgers. Try to run through some other scores for you this inning. The one non-intra-league game is underway. Arizona leading the Astros 2-0 tonight in the first. As you look at the Firestone in-game box score. Red Sox and Phillies now tied 2-2. That game is going to the 10th. Ryan Howard tied it in the bottom of the 9th with a home run. That's 19 for Ryan Howard this year. Braves lead the Orioles 7-2 in the 8th. And the Tigers have beaten the Pirates behind the 20-year-old Rick Porcello 3-1 in Pittsburgh tonight.
Oh, what's he got? 7 wins now?
Blaylock a drive deep to center. That ball to the track. At the wall. Gone!
Well, Kemp ran into that wall hard. He didn't really get to the wall and jump. He jumped right into the wall. And if he did have a chance to catch that ball, I don't think he would have gotten his glove high enough anyway, as hard as he smashed into the wall. It's the kind where you get shaken up a little bit.
The Rangers, for the first time in 5 home games, have actually homered. And it's Blaylock that breaks that drought for the Rangers, his 13th of the year.
Watch Martin gets turned around. Boom. Ooh, Kemp. Right into the wall.
Now Nelson Cruz with a grounder to short. Picked by Furcal, and Cruz is out. Then a sonic slam winner thanks to Hank Blaylock. Kemp, of course, not familiar with this ballpark. Lost his hat. And back to your original question, Tag. Yes, Rick Porcello has 7 wins now.
7-4, 20 years old. 1 full year in the minor leagues is all. He was on a pitch count most of that in the Florida State League.
I know it's not even halfway through the season yet, but Porcello and Elvis Andrus seem to be your top 2 candidates for Rookie of the Year right now.
I would say at this stage of the season that's true. A lot of things can happen, but right now that's true.
Murphy shoots one into left field, a base hit. Hard to remember that he was 0 for 23 at one point this year.
Well, since that 0 for 23, he's hitting just like you would expect David to hit and more.
Rick Honeycutt comes out. Yes, Rick Honeycutt, former Texas Ranger, 2-time Texas Ranger. He was pitching coach for the Dodgers, and boy, he had some solid seasons for the Rangers in the 80s. Had that 14-win, 2.42 ERA season for the Rangers for Doug Rader.
And then when Rick came back, he came back as a late-inning bullpen guy. I think Rick was part, I might be wrong on this, I think he was part of a string of 5 straight shutouts by Ranger pitchers back then.
I think he was part of that. He led the league in ERA that one year.
I don't think who the other pitchers would have been. Mike Smithson, I think, was one. John Butcher might have been one. Steve Comer might have been one. Not sure who the 5th one was. Maybe Doc Medich.
I saw Leach and Mota getting ready for the Dodgers. The Rangers have a run in, leading 3-0 against the best team from the National League, the Dodgers. Cranked into left field right after the visit from Rick Honeycutt. Marlon Byrd is 2 for 3.
Well, they're starting to get to Kuroda a little bit. Earlier in the game, he was pinpoint with his command. Rangers have all seen him at least twice now. And his 3rd time through, starting to swing the bats a little bit better against them. They're waking up.
He is now Hiroki corroded. Yeah, the pitch count up into the 90s.
Well, maybe trying to stall for time right here. They got a lefty out in the bullpen warming up. That would be Leach.
They got a crazy game going at Yankee Stadium tonight, Tag. The Mets and Yankees are 7-7 in the 7th. This is the 3rd time through, and the Rangers are getting at them. Joe Torre is on his way to make that move.
Boy, those are pretty dramatic numbers right there.
Pulling off the cliff right
first
there.
First and second, and then the 3rd time. And that bearing out tonight, too. 3rd time through the lineup. The Rangers are 4 for 6.
That's falling off the cliff like Thelma and Louise right there. That's
below 200, below 100, and above 400.
So out he goes. And indeed, the change being made. We'll come back and tell you about the new Dodger pitcher right after that. Out of Southern Miss and Delta State. A native Mississippian there. Will come on with a couple men on base and just one out. The Rangers already leading here 3-0 in the bottom of the 6th. The compelling item from Brent Leach's personal items, when you look in their media guide, says his favorite player of all time is Nolan Ryan. And he's got a chance to show off in front of Nolan Ryan right now if he chooses to. He's got 2 on, 1 out, and having to face the power hitting first baseman Chris Davis.
I wonder if he's aware that Nolan is so close.
Would that make him more nervous?
Nolan ought to stand up, start waving his arms and screaming at him.
Hey, big guy.
Little bench jockeying.
We've got to worry about Davis in that batter's box. First, he's going to step back and look at the runner at second, Murphy.
That's a lost art, bench jockey. It's not protocol anymore. 50, 60 years ago it used to be, but
well, let's go back. Say,
I think it's frowned upon now.
What about even 25 years ago? Who
best I've ever seen is Bobby Valentine.
Really?
Oh yeah, because he had biting comments and an incredibly loud voice. He once got on a Kansas City pitcher, Joe Beckwith, one night and rattled him so badly. He was throwing wild pitches, walked in a run. They had to take him out. Kansas City didn't appreciate it very much, but you know, just from what you read and look at from baseball in the, you know, I guess you'd say the old days, that was pretty much an accepted part of the game. In Ken Burns' baseball series, they show the other team getting on Babe Ruth. Of course, Babe usually hit a home run and then taunted them as he went around the bases, but you don't see that quite as much anymore.
The Dodgers have in their employ right now a Hall of Fame bench jockey in Larry Boa.
I'll bet you Larry would be great, yeah.
You say one year when the Davey Concepcion Larry Boa debate was in full swing, who was the better shortstop? Boa started calling Concepcion Elmer. And one day in August, Pete Rose finally sought out Boa during batting practice and said, hey, Concepcion wants to know why you call him Elmer. He's getting tired of that. Why do you call him Elmer? And Boa said, well, tell him every time I pick up a Reds box score, it says E. Concepcion. So I just figured E must stand for Elmer. They'd call Larry Boa Pee-wee in response, but that's about all they could do. He'd go out there and perform at a pretty high level. Davis waves and misses.
Yeah, that didn't necessarily distinguish him from Davey Concepcion, though.
No.
Well, there's one lefty in the bullpen, and he is done for the night. He faced a lefty, and now Joe's going to go get a righty, it looks like.
Yeah, with Teagarden coming up, Mota's ready to go, and they'll go get him in a very long bottom of the 6th. The Rangers lead the Dodgers tonight by the score of 3-0. Back in just a moment. Our Geico quote. Actually, it's more of a statement about Josh Hamilton first. That State Farm Home Run Derby fan poll, as they try to encourage guys to participate in that home run derby. Why wouldn't you want to see Josh back in there? And now the quote. Kind of cryptic. We've all been told that it's 4 to 6 weeks that Hambone's going to be out. He says he's going to let us think it's 4-6, and well, maybe we'll see him sooner than later.
Well, the one thing we absolutely don't want to see is Josh come back a little bit too soon and re-injure anything. We'll see Josh back. What a boost that's going to be. It's going to be like making a trade at the trade deadline.
These Dodgers will have the same dynamic when Manny Ramirez comes back. Guillermo Mota will face Taylor Teagarden with 2 on, 2 out. The Rangers trying to extend a 3-0 lead. The inning started with a home run by Blaylock to center, his 13th of the year, and the Rangers' first home run at home in 5 games. Ground out, single strikeout since then. Knock wood, Tag, but the weather seems to have calmed down a bit right now.
I think the forecast that Dennis got was right. We were right on the edge, and it seemed to be moving south. And it hasn't turned around.
The Rangers out hitting the Dodgers 8-4 tonight. Teagarden's got one of those hits, a double with a run scored back in the 3rd. And a smash to the alley in left center field. That's going to get a couple of Rangers around and in. Taylor Teagarden with his 2nd double of the night. It's 5-0.
Oh, what a nice game for Taylor. Salty's the regular catcher. Taylor plays once every 4 or 5 days. So it's got to be gratifying to him to step up to the plate, have a double and score a run, and now drive in 2 runs, 2 doubles in 4 innings. And both of them have been ripped. One down the left field line, and that one hooked into the gap in left center.
Your Steele pitch tracker, that one right down the middle for Taylor. And now Vizquel looking for that hit that will tie him with Louis Aparicio. Instead, a high fly ball. And foul ground taken care of by Blake. The Rangers scored 3 times. Once on the home run by the hammer. Hank Blaylock and company ahead now 5-0. Grab your bag, it's on. And by Steel Outdoor Power Equipment, Yard Care Solutions start at steeldealers.com. Taylor Teagarden having a big night with a couple of doubles, and he is catching a shutout. Hoping to keep it a shutout is Jason Jennings, in his first pitch at the top of the 7th is lined into center by Russ Martin. Got some emails wondering why Russ Martin has J. Martin on the back of his jersey. His mom's name, last name is Jensen. And that's who raised Russ Martin, was his mom. And wanting to give a little shout out to her, he wants to go by Russell Jensen Martin. So
very nice.
That's what the J is for, not for his first name or anything. He's actually a fascinating guy, a guy that was originally a 3rd baseman and converted to catcher, the native Canadian. He has quickly become a very popular guy among LA Dodger fans. Martin's mom and dad split when he was a kid, and he commuted between Montreal and Ottawa. His dad lived in Montreal, decided that the best way to maximize the time that he spent with Junior was to quit his job as a carpenter and simply make money as a street musician in Montreal in the mornings while Russ Martin was still asleep. When he was in charge of Junior, Big Russ would head to the Montreal subway stations and play his saxophone for money. He'd be done with his workday by 9:30 in the morning, and the rest of the day they could spend playing baseball, father and son, when Russell would go there for the summers. And on the jazz saxophone line that we're on here, Tag, Russ Martin's full name is Russell Nathan Coltrane Martin. Coltrane for the legendary jazz saxophonist John Coltrane.
Wow.
So
interesting stuff.
I owe it all to Vin Scully, who is not on the trip. There's a walk to Furcal. And the legendary voice of the Dodgers, the Hall of Famer Vin Scully, does not make road trips outside of the West Coast anymore. So
I'll bet you Vin Scully doesn't tweet either.
Yeah, you're probably right.
Boy, that would be a shock. If I find out that Vin Scully tweets, I'm definitely on board.
What if he's got like a cool Facebook page going too? Are you in on Facebook then?
I might have to if it's good enough for him. I mean, he is the standard, isn't he?
He is the most elegant broadcaster the baseball's ever had. Not a lot of BFFs and LOLs and OMGs being tweeted by the great Mr. Scully, I can't imagine. Juan Pierre, top of the order. He's ahead 2-0. Jennings and Pierre, one-time teammates. And right now, Jennings is behind him with a runner at first, one out. We're in the top of the 7th. Nice way to start this series for the Rangers. Again, the Dodgers, a top team in the National League at 40-21.
The one way you can get in trouble with a 5-run lead is to not throw strikes. Jason's going through a little rut here. 3-0 now on Pierre.
Well, just like Padilla, 11 of the first 21 pitches thrown by Padilla were balls tonight. Same now for Jennings.
There you go.
The Dodgers have had their chances. There have been 4 hits. And there have been 4 walks. So far, they have stranded 7. That is strike 2.
Well, Pierre's a guy who doesn't walk a lot, doesn't strike out a lot. In his career coming into the season, he'd walked 313 times, struck out 310. He won't walk that much, but he's going to put it in play. That's why he's not afraid to take 3-1 and go to 3-2. Feels like he can make contact.
Runner goes. Excellent jump. But the ball fouled away.
This year, Pierre's walked 14, struck out 15. Almost even again.
How about a strike him out, throw him out double play?
I'm on board.
Outfield's around the left. Again, the runner goes. Ground ball to short. Kinsler unloads. Davis on the bag. It's a double play. Not to strike him out, throw him out, but that'll work too. It's a tough guy to double up in Juan Pierre. They got him.
Well, they got him because Omar got rid of it so quickly and Ian turned it so quickly. Nice play.
And it's a shutout at the stretch. 5-0. Dealing tonight. 5 innings of 4-hit shutout baseball. And Taylor Teagarden has himself a pair of doubles. He has scored a run, and he has knocked in 2. The Rangers lead the LA Dodgers their first trip to Arlington in 9 years. It's 5-0. And the bottom of the 7th now as the Rangers try to grow that lead. Could it be 3 straight shutouts at this ballpark? The Rangers with 1 for and 1 against, and now leading tonight 5-0. Ron Washington, who broke in as an LA Dodger back in 1977.
I heard on the radio today on one of the sports shows that there has been, in the history of the ballpark, 8 1-0 shutouts in this ballpark, and the Rangers had thrown 4 of them. 3 of them were against the Blue Jays.
Yeah, isn't that weird?
Yeah, it is weird.
A 1-0 win yesterday was largely Kevin Millwood, but boy, Darren O'Day was great again. And C.J. Wilson got the save. That one's down and into Kinsler. Well, because the Angels lost yesterday, Millwood and the Rangers a 4.5 game lead coming in tonight. Kinsler drives one to center field. At the track, caught by Kemp.
He hit a ball like that the other night, just like that ball. Line shot right to the base of the wall, right center field. Good swing, solid contact.
So now Michael Young, who had an RBI single back in the third. We mentioned Michael, a big-time Dodger fan growing up outside of L.A. Another one that'll test out Kemp. He's got it. 2 line drives to center field.
Mota not fooling anybody. First batter he faced was Teagard and doubled. Got Omar to pop up. Now 2 line shots right at the center fielder.
Red Sox and Phillies still 2-2 now in the 11th inning. Mentioned the Tigers beat the Pirates 3-1. The Indians over the Cardinals. That's gone final 7-3 tonight. And the Braves won in Baltimore 7-2. Off the plate 1-1 to Blaylock, who had the home run in the 6th inning. Mota scrambling, and he's got it. And the Rangers done batting in the 7th with a comfortable 5-0 lead on L.A. 8th, a 2-run third, a 3-run 6th, and Taylor Teagarden in the middle of both of those big innings. The Dodgers have been shut out so far by Padilla and Jennings. And now Orlando Hudson leads things off in the top of the 8th. 2, 3, 4 in the order for the L.A. Dodgers, who are in over the weekend. Part of interleague play. The Dodgers last year, of course, caught fire after Manny Ramirez decided to stop by for that little summer fling. They pitched real well down the stretch last year, too. Arizona did not. That allowed the Dodgers to pass the Diamondbacks and win the West. This year, the Dodgers established right from word go that with or without Manny Ramirez, they'd be the team to beat in that NL West. I think this signing right here was huge for them, Orlando Hudson.
Yeah, they just kind of scooped him up right at the end when really there wasn't a lot of bidding for him. Been a terrific player. Well, he's already a terrific player. Not a surprise that he's playing well for them. You know, and I guess one thing you could look at with the second baseman, especially in the American League, there aren't a lot of teams looking for second baseman in the American League.
Right. Hudson is down on strikes. We go to Dana Larson down on the set of Rangers Live. We hope.
All right, Josh, thanks a lot. Of course, Rangers Live is coming up right after the game, but we want to take this opportunity, if we can, to send a little shout out to the folks at Encore Energy. Of course, the extreme weather we've been experiencing in this week has taken its toll. Power has been out at thousands of homes and businesses all across the Metroplex, but the workers at Encore have been working tirelessly to change that. 3,400 crew members working round the clock to restore power. They've been successful in doing so for more than 400,000 and counting. They know it has been a difficult couple of days, and they want to thank everyone for their patience, and we want to thank them for their hard work, of course. And Josh and Tom, as we send it back to you, one more reminder to join us right after the game for Rangers Live.
You bet. Thank you, Dana. It has been, a challenging couple of days all around the Metroplex.
But one guy that's just getting better and better as the season goes on is Jason Jennings. His last start, he threw 2 solid innings, then gave up some runs when he went out for his third. This is the start of his 3rd inning tonight. His velocity is gradually creeping up to where the last couple of times out it's been 89 and 90. He's had the good breaking ball all the time this season, but nice to see his velocity coming back, getting stretched out a little bit. Again, this is his 3rd inning. Of course, Jason was on the team last year, but he was never healthy. He was in the rotation early, pitching out of the bullpen really for the first time in his career. But the more he gets stretched out like this, the more he becomes a candidate at some point in time to be considered if there was a need in the rotation, you would think.
Whoa, close but no to Ethier, who crowds the plate. It's 3-2.
Well, Ethier coming into this at bat had seen 19 pitches. He's seen 5 now, 24 pitches in tonight's ball game.
Jennings with the sign that he likes. Strikes him out. Pretty pitch. 2 down.
Good breaking ball. Right near the outside corner.
Now Casey Blake to the plate. Normally a guy who's up there for quite a while. 4 or 5 pitches anyway.
Jason's faced the minimum amount of hitters, 8. He did walk a batter, but he was quickly erased on the double play. Beautiful double play that Omar and Ian turned.
Well, the Rangers are surviving now without Frankie Francisco. It's been 9 days since he's pitched, going on 10. Josh Hamilton, of course, not available for Wash. That could be for anywhere between 20 and 40 more days.
Well, the nice development out in the bullpen has been Darren O'Day, who gives Wash another late inning guy. Of course, CJ's had experience as a closer, and it's natural for him to just step up into that role, and he's been excellent in that role. But having Darren to pitch late in the game has really helped as well.
Do or die bare hand for Michael Young. He couldn't make that pickup, and Casey Blake is safe. Playing back, so a long way to come in.
Yeah, that's a tough ball to bare hand too, because it took a hop and it was going fairly hard too. But he didn't have much of a choice. You're going to try it that way and come up empty-handed, or he's going to beat it out anyway.
So now the Houston native James Loney. Speaking of Houston, the Astros trailing in Arizona tonight, 3-0 in the 4th. Mets lead the Yankees now 8-7 in the 9th inning, despite 4 more Yankee home runs tonight. That ball is in a center, base hit for Loney. And all of a sudden the Dodgers have 2 on with 2 out. Mark Loretta to the plate. Mike Maddox will go to the mound. Jennings now having thrown 40 pitches. Marlins beat the Blue Jays 7-3. That's 2 straight losses for Toronto now. Of course, they lost to the Rangers 1-0 last night. And Jason Grilli, the newest Texas Ranger, getting up in the bullpen. Washington and Tampa Bay tied 3-3 tonight. That's in the 8th. And the Royals have defeated the Reds 4-1. We should mention, too, the Angels have taken an early lead on the Padres 3-0 on a Torrey Hunter home run in the 1st inning. So now Mark Loretta had an infield hit in the 4th. That's the only hit he's had his last 18 at bats. He's looking to bunt. Could be a curious way to get on right there. Michael Young was playing back.
I guess there's a couple of trains of thought on that. One would be get more base runners. You got a good hitter in Matt Kemp coming up next. I guess the other would be with 2 outs. You'd rather see the hitter swing, try to drive in some runs. Well, whichever way you look at it, if you got the third baseman back like that, and you can have one of your best hitters coming up in a 5-0 game with the bases loaded, that's not bad.
Couple other scores real quick for you. The Brewers leading the White Sox 7-2 in the 8th tonight. That's in Milwaukee. Mariners trying to stop the Rockies' 8-game win streak. Seattle leads 4-3 in the 6th. Jennings falls behind 2-1. Tried the fastball that time. A's and the Giants are scoreless in the 3rd tonight with Tim Lincecum on the mound for San Francisco. And the Twins beat the Cubs today 7-4. Fouled away, 2-2. Again, a hot, humid night. Can't be an easy night to pitch. Padilla lasted only 5 innings tonight. 4 hits allowed, no runs. Two on, 2 out, 2-2 pitch is inside. And the powerful Matt Kemp on deck. This might be it either way for Jennings right here.
Well, Jason's had a couple of strikeouts in this inning with his hard breaking ball. It's 3-2 with 2 outs. I think if he dropped that curveball in right now, he'd have a pretty good chance of getting Loretta.
Runners will get going. Loretta, a smash that Michael Young has collected, and he throws him out. The shutout is intact in Arlington. And everybody's been contributing tonight. Chris Davis, a diving stop. Double play, Vizquel and Kinsel team up on that. Moments ago, Michael Young helping to keep it 5-0 Rangers. The Dodgers have stranded Messi tonight. They will make a pitching change now too. Travis Schlichting comes into the ball game. Made his major league debut very recently. Allowed a solo homer to Ryan Howard, the very first batter he faced. Things seem to be settling down from there. He was with the Double-A Chattanooga this year, the old Chattanooga Lookouts. They might have the best minor league names going, the Dodgers, top to bottom. They're in Albuquerque again. That's the Isotopes.
I love that one.
Double-A is the Lookouts. Single-A, they got the Inland Empire 66ers and the Great Lakes Loons up in Midland, Michigan. So if you're coming up through the ranks, you're a Loon, then you're a 66er, then you're a Lookout, and then you're an Isotope before you get to wear the Dodger blue. Nelly Cruz wearing the Ranger blue takes a strike. It's 0-2. Five innings from Padilla tonight, 3 from Jennings. On this warm night where we were right on the fringe of some awful weather, and it never did hit here.
Schlichting originally signed as a minor league infielder. He was a 4th-round pick by Tampa Bay.
He's a Round Rock guy, Round Rock High School.
And then he pitched a full season, like a lot of guys now in the big leagues, of independent league ball. And here he is pitching in the big leagues. More and more you see independent league guys, mostly pitchers. Can't think of an independent league position player. I'm sure there are some, but most of them are pitchers.
Kevin Millar came from the independent leagues to begin his career.
And a guy like Darryl Strawberry played in the independent leagues, but not really a guy that was discovered in the independent leagues.
1-2 the count to Nelly Cruz, leading off here in the bottom of the 8th. Rangers on top 5-0. Crowd of 36,591 at the ballpark tonight. Another nice crowd expected tomorrow for the 7:05 game. Feldman against Wolf.
We saw Wolf in spring training, and he was unbelievable that day.
6 innings of 1-hit ball that
he
day.
had a tremendous curveball and a good fastball. And a good pickup by the Dodgers.
3-2 to Cruz.
What a solid year. 82 innings, 72 hits, not many walks, a lot of strikeouts, solid ERA.
Nelly works a walk, leading things off in the bottom of the 8th. Dodgers had the day off yesterday. They're actually staying down in Dallas and making that commute, Dallas to Arlington this weekend. We go a shorter distance. We go to Jim Knox.
All right, thank you, Josh. Got one Ranger fan here, knows exactly why the Rangers are winning tonight. Why?
It's because of the Purple Pig. I started from my Dodger fan. He's not getting it back. We're going all the way to the World Series with the best record in baseball. Purple Pig! Purple Pig! Purple Pig! Woo!
The power of the Purple Pig here in Club Level. All right.
Who knew it was the Purple Pig all along? All right, thank you, Jim. Sometimes we go and talk to heads of state. Sometimes we go and talk to, celebrities and such, and sometimes it's that. 1-1 the count to Murphy. A 5-0 Ranger lead. Nobody out here in the 8th inning. Now the count 1-2. Cruz swan diving back in. Got the fireworks show after the game tonight. One-two delivery. Another one down too low from Schlichting. We haven't had a chance yet, Tag, to really talk about the recent acquisition the Rangers went out and got. And they put him in AAA to start. That's El Duque, Orlando Hernandez. Your thoughts about that potential?
I just look at it that it's a very low-risk sign. They signed him to a minor league contract. You'd never have too much depth in the starting rotation. And if he's healthy, regardless of how old he is, it doesn't make much difference. And throwing well, and you have a need, you need some of that depth, to be a great guy to pick from because he's got postseason experience, a tremendous postseason pitcher. He's pitched in pennant races. Great competitor. So I'm all for those kind of signs. Not taking the place of a young prospect. A good guy to have down there. If it works out, great. If not, you haven't lost anything.
Cruz is going, and Hudson couldn't get it. Went right under his glove. The Rangers had runners at the corners and nobody out. And Murphy just keeps pegging baseballs this last week or two.
That's going to go as an error, but it was a hard hit ball. You're right. Second ball that's gone underneath a good fielder's glove today. This one goes under Hudson's glove. Earlier in the game, one went under Loney's glove that Omar Vizquel hit. Hudson was going to cover second base. Cruz was running, and so he had to stop and go back. I don't know if that caused the ball to go underneath his glove.
Well, a great chance for Bird here. The infield is coming in. Dodgers don't want to fall behind any further than 5-0. Bird had that triple on an 0-2 count back in the second. That was the first Ranger hit of the game. And set a nice tone tonight. Tampa Bay has just overtaken Washington on a Gabe Kapler pinch hit home run in the bottom of the 8th inning. Gabe, of course, as you probably know, went off to manage in the minor leagues before returning. Marlon Byrd feasting on one, drives it to left. Back at the track. Murphy's going to tag as well. He's headed to second base, and he'll make it. Sac fly RBI for Marlon Byrd.
Well, he had the sac fly yesterday. Was the only run of the game early in the game.
So 6-0 Rangers now. Chris Davis coming up, and our Coors Light freeze cam. Davis had that 2-strike double, going down to get one earlier tonight. A walk, an error, and a sac fly as the Rangers add to their lead here in the 8th. Again, the game tomorrow, a 7:05 first pitch. That game will be on My 27 tomorrow in the Metroplex. And we're back on Fox Sports Southwest on Sunday for the 2:05 game. That'll be a fun pitching matchup Sunday. 22-year-old Derek Holland against Chad Billingsley, who the last couple of years has been outstanding for the Dodgers.
What a year he's having. 85 innings, 90 strikeouts. Only given up 2 home runs all year in 85 innings.
Outside, Schlichting. 3 balls on everybody that he's facing here.
Two outs, 9th inning, 8-7, 2 on. K-Rod on the mound and Tex at the plate.
Ooh, in that Mets-Yankees game. We'll keep you posted. Second walk of the inning. Rick Honeycutt, the one-time Ranger pitcher, is on his way to talk to Schlichting. It's fun to see former Rangers come back in a coaching mode.
Brad Arnsberg, we just saw him with Toronto.
Yeah. Rick Honeycutt is still the Rangers' only ERA champion. Got that done in 1983. A big night for Taylor Teagarden, a pair of doubles. He's in the process of catching a shutout, too. Omar Vizquel on deck. There's Teagarden sending one high in the air to center field. Murphy goes back to tag at second. And heading on to third. Let's see if Vizquel now can go ahead and tie Luis Aparicio for the most hits ever by a native of Venezuela. He's got that shot right now against Schlichting. Omar played the last several years for the Dodgers' rivals, the San Francisco Giants. The Rangers trying to make it 29 wins in their last 45 games. They're back to scoring some runs tonight. They had had 4 runs total their last 3 games combined. They have 6 runs tonight. Stopped by Martin. in there for strike 2. Well, the Rangers have worked over Schlichting. Made him throw 27 pitches this inning, 15 of which have missed the strike zone. Deflected slowly towards second base. Can Vizquel get there? No. He is still one away from Aparicio. But now we go to the 9th. It's the Rangers 6 and the Dodgers nothing. Texas Ranger Baseball brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Go to southwest.com, grab your bag, it's on. By Romano's Macaroni Grill and by your Texas Ford dealers. Check out the all-new F-150 and drive one. Ford is the best in Texas. First trip to Arlington for the LA Dodgers in 9 years, and they don't have any runs yet tonight. 6-0 Rangers as we go to the 9th. Jason Grilli, just added to the team from the Colorado Rockies, will take over to pitch this 9th inning. Padilla went 5 tonight. Jennings went 3. And now Grilli, who saw the Dodgers a lot because the Rockies play the Dodgers a lot, he's going to deal a strike to Matt Kemp. You said it earlier, Tag. The Rangers, just kind of took a flyer on Darren O'Day. That has worked out brilliantly so far. And we'll see if they get even half of that from Jason Grilli.
Well, Grilli's got a good arm. He's always had a good arm, but his fastball, as we've seen it with the Rangers, 92, 93. He's got a good slider. No reason why he can't be a good pitcher for the Rangers.
Kemp will ground one foul. Really a one-time top 5 pick in the country. Another grounder foul. By the way, the Angels lead the Padres tonight 4-1. As they're wearing out the camera well down there. That's what you get for being the Dodgers team photographer in Arlington. Fly ball this time beyond Kinsler towards right. And Nelly Cruz will put it away. 1 down. By the way, Tag, the Yankees came back, won that game 9-8.
Wow.
Must have been a little Texan A-Rod magic happening there.
Yeah. Red Sox just scored 3 in the 13th, so they're ahead too.
Nelly.
Been a tough one for the Yankees to lose. They'd have dropped 3 behind the Red Sox. K-Rod gave it up. Wasn't pounding his chest and pointing to the sky after that one,
not
was he?
tonight. 1-0 pitch to Russell Martin is in there for a strike. The Rangers, remember, had the shutout yesterday. And it's looking good tonight. That one rolls on in there. Kevin Millwood, 7 2/3 of shutout baseball yesterday. The Rangers got only 5 innings from Padilla tonight. It was a hard-earned 5 innings tonight. Dodgers with just a bunch of foul balls.
Good slider.
Yep, and another pop-up. Kinsler is tracking it. Ian has got it, and the Rangers are an out away.
Yeah, since the bad outing in New York, Vicente has come back with a really good outing in Boston and a solid outing tonight. A lot of pitches, but as you say, the Dodgers made him work. He had a good fastball tonight. You could tell he was feeling good. Good velocity on his fastball. He battled all the way. 108 pitches in 5 innings. He had to be battling. But he stands to get his 2nd win in a row. At a time when the Rangers are looking for wins. This is never a time they're not looking for wins.
A fun night tonight. Rangers dodging raindrops early, scoring enough runs tonight. Now it's a matter of getting one more strike, and these fans will have something else besides fireworks to be happy about. Slugged into right field. Nelly Cruz is back, and he can't get it. That'll skip up against the wall. That will delay all of what we're waiting for right now. For a call, rips at double. Juan Pierre will come up. Really, I'm sure, is a guardian right now trying to keep that shutout intact. I know that's just cosmetics, but you want that shutout. Ball one to Pierre. And don't forget, Rangers Live comes up right after the game tonight. Chip down the left field line and into the crowd. Another one into the crowd, and again the Dodgers down to 1 strike left. We're on Washington's first team, the LA Dodgers. Joe Torre's current team. Two and two. I think that guy appreciates the pitching performances the last couple of nights.
I do.
On the ground, Omar Vizquel throws to Young, and nothing else is happening.
He knew he couldn't throw him out at first base. That's Juan Pierre running. Tried to flip it to Michael just in case they got lucky and somehow got for call going by the bag. Ian tried that earlier in the game.
Yeah. After 2 quick outs, a double and then an infield hit. Now Orlando Hudson trying to bust up the shutout. You know, the hits are almost even in this game. It's 9-8 Rangers over the Dodgers. See if the Dodgers end up stranding 11 tonight. Right now it's at 9.
The Rangers have benefited by a couple of LA errors. They've got a couple of unearned runs in the game.
Juan Pierre just trots into second base. No throw. That'll be defensive indifference. And a 2-0 count to Hudson. Another one back into the crowd. Chop ball, Grilly's got it. Ball game. And another shutout here in Arlington. Whether it is Blue Jay blue or Dodger blue, these boys in blue